So recently while I was meant to be at work, I was watching a bunch of videos about what mistakes new streamers make. And I realized that very few of these videos actually taught people how to fix or avoid making the mistake. So today I'm gonna give you 7 mistakes new streamers make, including the biggest mistake they can possibly make, which is covered at the end. And I'm gonna show you how to fix every single one, not just tell you what you're doing wrong. So let's fix those basics and get your view count building. Hey, I'm LJ from streamsgame.com. I'm also a variety streamer over at twitch.tv/Eljayem_. Links to both those in the description. And as I said today, I'm gonna be covering these 7 big areas where new streamers make mistakes. These are gonna be things such as camera and lighting, audio issues, community building, scheduling, technical settings, and the biggest mistake I think that most people make is planning out their content. Now for every single one of these areas, I'm hopefully gonna give you a few actionable tips so you can go straight from this video to your stream and start improving or making it better. And I'm also gonna put time codes in the description and the top comment so you can skip straight to the topic you wanna cover. So I just want to preface this video by saying that I currently stream to about 100 average viewers, and obviously 6 months ago when I first started, that wasn't the case. I only had 0 to 5 average viewers. And I was making these mistakes. Even though I'm in the film industry for the last 6 years and I've been doing marketing for 2 years, I still made crucial mistakes that I should have known better. And that's not an embarrassing thing. That's a part of learning, it's part of growing. So if you make any of these mistakes, please don't feel embarrassed or please don't feel let down or stupid for doing it. It's just a part of growing as a streamer. So the first big mistake, have you ever wondered why every single YouTube thumbnail has a face in it? Well, it's because we are hardwired to recognize human faces. We bond with them, we connect with them. So when I first started streaming, I didn't have a camera, and this was my mistake. You should really make sure you have a camera when you're streaming so that way people can see your face, they can see your reactions, they can kind of bond with you as a person. And not just that, but they can see you in the thumbnail when they're looking through the streams. Most people always click a stream that has a face in their thumbnail rather than one that doesn't. When it came to first adding my camera, I also made some mistakes. I was putting it in the bottom left or top left, but in reality, you need to be putting it on the right because if you put it on the left, your face will be hidden behind these little live and view count numbers on your thumbnail. And it's harder for people to look at the chat, which is on the right-hand side of Twitch, and all the way over to your camera. So the closer you can get your camera to the right, the easier and less eye strain it'll have for your viewer. But the biggest camera mistake I made when I first started was having terrible lighting. And this is from a guy who's been in the film industry for, as I said, 6 years. Lighting and cameras is kind of my thing. I just didn't take it seriously enough. It only took me about a week before I looked at it and thought, what the fuck am I doing? So I moved my desk back, put in some lights, and you can really see the difference. Since starting this channel, I've had a lot of people ask me to check out their streams, and this is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give for your cameras. Stop trying to be fancy with red, blue, or RGB lights. Just light yourself nicely. Make sure your face is lit. Make sure you're balanced. Make sure people can see you and connect with you. Once you have that down, then you can start looking at adding in all that fancy stuff. But right now, just focus on you. Your subject needs to be the thing that's lit, and that is you. I have a guide on how I light my stream linked in the description, but I'm gonna be making a video on it soon, so subscribe. And just quickly, if you do use a webcam for your camera, you'll need to know how to set that stuff up manually in OBS, because using auto will often lead to really bad white balances or just kind of exposures that are off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to go into your video capture settings, turn off auto white balance, switch over to the camera controls tab, and then turn off your auto exposure. Head back to the first tab and play with your gain a bit until it looks nice, or if you need to, you can change your exposure and then your gain. This way you can balance yourself with the light you have, but I really would recommend getting some lights. The second big mistake is not engaging with your new followers or your community properly. I only realized this was a mistake people made because when I made the best games to grow video, which is linked in the description, I had a lot of people asking, but how do I transition from a consistent game? How do I bring my audience from one game to another? But if someone arrives in your stream and talks, or if someone follows, it's really important that you ask them where they're following from, or what they're watching from, or how long have they been playing this game for, or what they like. You need to engage them, bond with them. I'd also recommend doing community nights or starting every stream with just chatting. Your stream should be less about the game you're playing and more about you as a content creator. If you're able to engage with these people on a personal level and host community nights where you play games with them and do just chatting segments, then it doesn't matter what game you're playing. I've never played anything like Dark Souls, and yet my viewer count hasn't dropped at all moving into Dark Souls recently. My chatters love it. A lot of them even said they'd never even consider watching Dark Souls, but because they liked the stream, it felt really natural to transition. Now I'm sure you've heard this next mistake before, but I need to say it because people still are doing it. If you're a streamer, you need to set a consistent schedule. And no, I don't mean stream 8 hours a day to no viewers. I mean, you need to set yourself up so that you're always streaming the same days in the same time slots. Again, since starting this channel, I've had a lot of people ask me to check out their VODs or check out their stream, and they always say, why aren't I growing? And often they don't have a schedule. You can't even begin to grow if you don't have a schedule. Imagine trying to go to your local pub or the cinema and they were just closed. And you don't know when they're going to be open again, they're just gone. That's not how you build a business, that's not how you build a brand. So you need to be consistent, you need to set a schedule, and you need to be there on time every time. So I'm about to cover audio issues and the big one, which is planning out your content. But first, I just want to throw it out there that if you're enjoying this video or it helps you at all, please throw a subscribe, it is free. And speaking of free, if you're subscribing and liking these videos, it's gonna put you one step ahead for everyone else who hasn't, because we're about to start releasing a crap load of free animated overlays for Streamlabs and OBS. That's right, gone are the days of only having static or low-end overlays. You're gonna have free animated ones as long as you're subscribed to this channel. The next big mistake is one that while I personally didn't make, it is something that I think every new streamer gets confused by because it is such foreign knowledge, and that is how to set up your audio properly. Now there's a saying in the film industry that audio is 60% of your film. Now with streaming, it goes even further than that. People often just throw you on in the background, and if that's the case, your audio becomes 100% of all that matters. Now I do have a video coming soon that will break down audio entirely, but I want to give you some quick tips now on how to set your audio up and avoid these mistakes. First things first, I would recommend picking up a USB microphone and not a headset. They are just higher quality and you can get them for fairly cheap. You don't need to get an XLR and a mixer and all this stuff just yet if you're a new streamer. Just getting a nice microphone to start with, such as an AT2020 Plus for the USB version, is fine. Secondly, I recommend using the monitor features built into Streamlabs and into OBS to monitor back your audio before you go live so you can make sure everything's working and everything sounds good. Do make sure to switch back out of the monitor only feature, otherwise when you go live you will be completely muted to your audience. Third, I recommend watching back your VOD after the stream to look for any issues in your audio and just being critical of yourself in general to try and improve. Fourth, a mistake I see a lot of new streamers make, even just streamers in general make, is they don't level their microphone on their PC before leveling it in their broadcasting software. Now, if you don't know what leveling is, it's just a term to mean how sensitive your mic is and how loud you are. Now, every computer is different, so I can't teach you exactly how to level your microphone in your PC, but essentially you need to go into your sound settings and find where your microphone sensitivity is and play with that until it sounds good. Once you've done that, you're gonna go into your broadcasting software and obviously speak into your mic. You'll see your levels will be here. You wanna be hitting just into the yellow mark. If you hit red, you're too loud and you will start peaking, which means you're gonna lose quality of your audio. It'll start distorting. The technical term, if you're wondering, for peaking and distortion is it sounds like shit. If you're hitting yellow and you still sound like shit, I'd say it's because your PC sensitivity for your microphone is still set too high. So even though you're only hitting yellow in Slobs, you're still peaking and it's destroying the audio feed at its source. The fifth tip is to learn how to use filters. The three main filters you should learn about are noise suppression, a limiter, and a noise gate. These are available in both Streamlabs and OBS. The noise suppression will get rid of things like fans and AC in the background of your audio. The limiter will stop it for when you start screaming or laughing. It won't go higher than a certain dB, it'll cut you off. And the noise gate will mean that any light noises such as keyboard clacking and stuff like that won't get transmitted across your stream, it'll get caught in the filter. Again, I'm gonna have a video coming out very soon about how to set all of this audio up in Streamlabs OBS and in OBS hopefully. But for now, please just subscribe, or if you want, chuck it in the comments that you need this video and I will rush it out much sooner. So I think the next mistake isn't really a mistake. Not knowing your technical settings, such as your bitrate or your resolution or how things all work together, isn't necessarily a mistake. The mistake is not actively trying to learn what all the different technical settings mean and instead taking a cookie cutter approach. I would love to give you some really specific information here about exactly what technical settings you should use, but at the end of the day, anyone who tells you exactly what settings to use for your PC, you need to be very wary of. You see, everyone's computer is different. Everyone's internet capabilities is different. Everyone's gameplay is different. Instead, you need to find what settings work for you and your setup. For example, people keep pushing the dynamic bitrate feature in Streamlabs, and while I love Streamlabs, the dynamic bitrate feature in Streamlabs is trash. Please stop tweeting about the dynamic bitrate. Please stop putting in your videos that the dynamic bitrate is a great feature. It is incredibly new, and every streamer who I've worked with who has tried to use it has had the same problems. Dynamic bitrate can't tell the difference between a dropped frame from your internet lagging and between alt-tabbing out of a game or having a stinger transition. So when that happens, it tanks your bitrate, which freaks out your stream and causes a chain reaction. The actionable tip: look at every setting, learn what it does, learn how it interacts, and try and get better a little step at a time. When I first started out, I had all sorts of issues, and I slowly got my stream up to scratch where it was working. We still have a few little things, but every time something happens, I try and learn how to fix it, and I learn what's causing it. So on to my final one, the biggest mistake new streamers make, and that is not planning out their content. My go-to question now when streamers ask for advice is I ask, how much content do you plan? And a lot of the time, new streamers will reply to me, well, I just say what's on my mind, or I just kind of come up with stuff on the spot. Now, this is a huge mistake. Could you imagine a radio presenter trying to go live, or a podcaster trying to go live without any information whatsoever, especially a new one? Like, it's almost impossible that they'll be good at that. Like, maybe in a few years you can just do that, but right now you need to be planning out your content and getting a feel for it. You need to go into every single stream with a plan. If you don't have a plan, then you're not a content creator. You're just someone going live and playing a game, and you can't grow on Twitch like that anymore. Those days have passed. You need to plan out your entire schedule's worth of streams. If you're streaming on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I need you to pick what game you're gonna play, what just chatting segment you're gonna do, what jokes you're gonna tell, what talking points you're gonna cover, and everything you can. For every hour you're live, I'd recommend getting 3 to 5 talking points, if not more, just so you can keep yourself talking. Especially if you have 0 viewers, you need to keep yourself active and talking all the time. The viewer count is slow, you don't know when someone is in your chat, and if you're not talking at all, they're probably gonna leave your chat before you even see that viewer count increase. So get yourself a little notebook and start writing out points for every little piece of thing that comes up in your life, so you can talk about it on stream or make jokes about it on stream, whatever. Just keep writing content throughout the week. Let me know in the comments if you want me to cover a video about planning your content. I pretty much have it written already. I just wasn't sure if that was something you'd be interested in. So if you say yes, even one person, then sure, I'll make a video about that. So hopefully you're gonna be able to get out there and start creating content like a pro. You can fix up any audio issues or your thumbnail issues and really get into it. If you liked this video, please do subscribe. We've got more content coming out weekly, and we're about to start giving away a bunch of free animated overlays in all sorts of colors and designs. So if you want those, hang around, subscribe, like the video. I'll see you guys next week.